Namaste, my fellow strikers. Holy Materia here, back with another Shinobi Striker video. Today, we're going to be uploading the DLC tier list, so let's get right into it. Okay, so this is the list that we had before. In the last video, it's been a while since we made one of these, so I figured I'd do it now, and then we'll update it at the end of the Season 5, when the last DLC comes out, after things calm down a little bit. But yeah, so you can check out the old video at the iCard up here. But let's get right into this one. So first, let me just change this list a little bit, because when I made that last video, it was like a little bit after the Itachi DLC had come out. So I didn't really realize how good Itachi was, because it was still during that time when people didn't really understand how Izanami worked. And now it's one of the most OP things in the game. So Itachi is for sure better than Last Battle Naruto. So he's just gonna move up higher in the S tier. I mean, he's still S tier. He was still S tier before, but at that time I thought that Last Battle Naruto was better than him, but he's definitely not. So first, we'll just change that. So there's been 4 new DLCs since I made the last tier list. And there's been a few changes to some moves, but I would say that this list is still pretty much good, besides the fact that, yeah, I had Itachi in the wrong spot. And I might also move Nagato down a little bit, since his moves haven't really become all that as meta as I thought they were going to be, because also he had just kind of dropped when I made that last video, so he's not quite as good as he seemed like he was. He's still good though. He's still A tier for sure. Chikashoda Majestic is so meta that he has to be up there just for that alone, but I wouldn't say that he's like towards the top of A tier. But yeah, let's get into the new ones that have dropped since the Itachi DLC came out. Okay, so first let's talk about Last Battle Sasuke. This was a really good DLC. Both of his ninjutsu are great to broken. So Susanoo is one of the best moves in the game, one of the most broken moves in the game still, even at this point. And his Chidori, the Heavenly Hand Power Chidori, has some of the best tracking on any of the Lightning Blade, Rasengan type of moves in the game. So that move is great. His ultimate is still one of the worst ults in the game, so that brings him down a little bit. But he's definitely A tier because of Susanoo and his ninjutsu alone. So yeah, I would put him towards the middle of A tier, I guess. Maybe a little bit lower than Hashirama. But no, actually, because of the time space hop on top of everything else, I'm going to put him towards the top of A tier. Because time space hop is one of the best just anything in the game. And then Susanoo is broken, and his other ninjutsu is really good. And then the ultimate is really bad, but so that keeps him out of S tier. But no, you know what? No, because of time space hop, he's got to be S tier. So I'm gonna put Guy down to the top of A tier, and then yeah, Last Battle Sasuke is S tier, because I forgot how good time space hop is, because they buffed that, and that's one of the anybody who has DLC basically uses that substitution right now. It's the best sub in the game by far. And then yeah, and then Susanoo is so good. So even this is probably the first time that on the strength of the clone somebody has gotten into a higher tier. But yeah, he's got to be S tier because of that clone. So yeah, now at this point in the game, S tier is like people that are basically broken. So I'm also going to put Minato down a little bit, so he'll also be towards the top of A tier. And the next DLC that came out after that was the Kawaki DLC, and this is one of the best DLC in the game. So this dude is going towards the top of S tier, almost at the very top, but I still will say that overall Adult Naruto is better than him. But I don't know, it's very close. Like, this could go really either way. Like, Kawaki could be number 1, or Adult Naruto could be number 1, because every one of Kawaki's moves is really good, and they're all meta. Like, his ult is good when it works right. It's still a little bit glitchy sometimes, but that would be his only weakness, would be his ult. And then his strange taste gives you so much ult charge. It's so useful, especially in stuff like base battle, where it's easy to get people, and where people are putting down like summons, and you can just feed off of that. You can even feed off of the boss, like Gamma Bunta and Gamma Kichi. When you summon Gamma Bunta with the ultimate scroll, and when you're fighting the boss in barrier battle. So yeah, that move is crazy. And in Imperial Wrath is just one of the most overpowered moves in the game, because how good attack types are. So yeah, Kawaki is either number 1 or number 2 in the whole game. for sure, easily. So I'm gonna put him at number 2 for right now. But yeah, he's probably like the most game-changing thing that's happened since I made the last, or he's definitely the most game-changing thing that's happened since I made the last tier list. But yeah, because of the consistency of Naruto's ult, I'm gonna still keep him at number 1, and especially because both of his ninjutsu are great, and then his ult is, I still would say, it's the best ult in the game. So yeah, adult Naruto's still number 1. Kawaki's number 2 though, easily. Okay, so now let's get into some of the season 5 DLC. So the first one that came out was Six Pass Moderator, the healer. This was an interesting DLC. He's cool. He was fun to use when he first came out, but as the hype around him died down, you see his moves less and less. Like you almost never see, or you rarely see his ninjutsu besides like on base battle when you see the lightning sometimes, but you almost never see his limbo clones at all. His ult is good and it can be good in any game mode, but I wouldn't say that he's one of the best DLC, and I wouldn't say he's one of the best healer or I wouldn't say he's even close to the best healer DLC. But he's still good though. He's a good DLC. So for Moderator, I would put him like towards the bottom of A or maybe towards the top of B, because yeah, his stuff has not been all that revolutionary like I originally thought it was gonna be. But he's still a dope DLC. He's not bad for sure, but he's not one of the best. Like he didn't change the game the way Itachi did, especially the way Izanami changed the whole game, being one of the most overpowered things in the whole game. Yeah, he's just a good DLC. And then the last but not least, the latest one that's come out is Tamari, and it's been long enough now that we kind of see how good it is and it's settled down. You don't really see Tamari's, like I was really hyped when she came out and she's still good, but you don't really see Tamari's ninjutsu very often. Like they both take a long time to activate, and so you have to use them at like a very long distance, and especially with the tornadoes, it's just not really worth it to be at a long distance when you put those out, because there's like ways you can use them effectively with very niche builds, and you can even one-shot with them with certain builds, but it only works in very specific situations. So yeah, neither of the ninjutsu are all that good, and even though I thought that Weasel was going to change the game because it can stop healing, but nobody really uses it, and even I took it off of my builds. So yeah, I'm gonna say Tamari is B tier, like maybe towards the middle of B tier. But her ultimate is really great. It's my personal favorite range ult in the game right now, and it's one of the best range ults too. It has lots of utility. It gets the suction of it is so good, and it does decent damage, but it's not really about damage. It's about like the crowd control more. So it gives range types more versatility, especially on things like base, and even the tornadoes are decent on base, but they're not like really good the way I thought they would be. So yeah, I'm gonna say Tamari is like towards the middle of B tier, but she's definitely not bad, but she's not like, it's not like anything revolutionary that she came with besides her ult, which is really good and you see it all the time. But on the strength of her ult alone, I'm just gonna say that she's like B tier because you don't really see her other moves very often. So yeah, that's the updated list. We'll do another one at the end of season 5. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Everybody stay safe out there. Peace and love.